Hey guys, it's Friday, late Friday, I know. But this week we are talking about how loud my TV is. We're talking about that. This week we are talking about religion and how we view it, if we are religious, and if it might have affected our coming out in any way. So to start off, I am not very religious at all. I went to church as a child, and I guess my family viewed themselves as Episcopalian, but I mean, like I said, I'm not religious. I wasn't really religious as a kid. I just did what I was told. Where was I? Okay, so I went to church as a child, but, I got older, we stopped going, and it just, it became one of those things where I would hear about families going every weekend, and I was like, well, that's cool, but I'd finally formed my own opinion about it, and I thought, well, if I believe in something like that so much, if I believed in it to a certain extent, and I was raised a certain way, then church would seem really appealing to me. But because I hadn't gone my entire life, only when I was little, I didn't, my family wasn't really religious at all. We had no ties to it when I got older, so it's like I feel no attachment to the church. Like, I believe that there is a higher power out there. I don't know what that higher power is, but I do believe that there is something up there guiding us. Out there, up there, whatever. So I believe in it to that extent. But my mom and I were talking about it a couple weeks ago, and I told her that I didn't want to get married in church, and she asked me why. And she was, I don't know how we got on that topic, but I said no because I feel I wouldn't want to because it would feel awkward and uncomfortable for me, and I feel no attachment to the church whatsoever, so why would I sit in there and, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I feel no attachment to the church. I'm not a religious person. I think I spent way too long trying to say something like that. So how it has affected me in my coming out process. So I actually thought it was going to affect me a lot more than it did. Like I said, my family's not religious, so my parents, when I came out, their reaction was entirely their own, and it hadn't, or at least I don't think it did. It had nothing to do with religion itself. Just their own feelings about it. What have you, but so the only person I was really worried about is my tiny Mexican as all hell Catholic grandma. And I remember getting to a point where I really wanted to tell her, and I was prepping myself, and I was like getting ready for some big reaction, some blow up, and I was super scared because this lady is like one of the most important people in my life. She's amazing and wonderful, and I love the hell out of her. So I was prepping myself for this huge like blow up, and I'm like, grandma's not gonna love me anymore, like what am I gonna do? And my aunt ended up outing me at the table after she'd been drinking, and that's how grandma found out. But to my surprise, grandma didn't even bat an eye at it. I didn't want to elaborate further, so we left it alone that night, but she talked to me about it the next day, and she said, why I didn't really say anything? I'm like, well, no, I'm confused as to why you didn't go off on me. And she says, I've gotten to that point in my life where I've seen too many people die who have left things unsaid, and I don't want to be that person who does that. She said, I believe that life's too short to hold things against people that they have no control over. That's weird. She didn't see a point in it at all, and I thought it was just like maybe she didn't see that point when it came to me, but she sees that point when it comes to everybody, you know, like she appreciates everybody and anybody for who they are, and if they live their lives with kindness and compassion, not whether or not they love differently than somebody else does, which I think is astounding considering, you know, where she grew up and how she grew up and how hard her life was. You know, she could have very easily turned to the church and just taken that as literal as she could have, but she chose not to not to let that sway the fact that people are people, and the more time you spend trying to criticize and execute how they're going to live their lives, the less time you spend trying to let your hearts be touched by the kind of person that they are. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like I've had a generally what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't had a bad experience with religion. When it came to my coming out, like I said, I don't personally lean to any sort of religion myself. But that doesn't mean, and like Chris said, which is really something I liked, is I'm not going to knock on somebody else for believing what they believe in. And, you know, if they let religion sway the way that they judge people, like, they're going to do what they're going to do. But if you know, like, I'm tongue-tied. Yeah, I'm not religious. My experience with coming out to people who are religious has been great so far. You know, I don't know what the future holds, but it's been fine so far. I feel like I just rambled for 8 minutes about nothing really, but I guess that's it for today. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.